Hello everybody. This video is going to be about solving quadratic equations by factoring. So the first two things that you want to check out is it in standard form? Yes it is. And is it set equal to 0? It is. So those first two things are already done for us. The next thing that you want to do is you want to rewrite the middle term, this negative 8x, by using two magic numbers, which we need to find. So in order to find those magic numbers, you have to take your first and your last coefficient and multiply them, and you get 12. So you need factors of 12, and they need to add up to your middle number, which is negative 8. Now, since we need factors of 12, which is positive, we know that both of our numbers are either going to be positive or they're going to be negative. Since they have to add up to a negative number, we know they're both going to be negative. So when we're looking at our options, we're only going to be looking at negative numbers. So let's start testing some out. So if we use negative 4 and negative 3, for example, that adds up to negative 7. So it doesn't work. What about negative 2 and negative 6? That may work. If you add those together, you do get negative 8, which is what you wanted. So our magic numbers this time are negative 2 and negative 6. Please include the sign. So now let's go ahead and rewrite the middle term. So it's going to be 4x squared minus 2x minus 6x plus 3. So if you put these two together, you're still going to get negative 8x, which is what we started with. We're just writing it in a different way. And of course, always bring down your equals 0. We have to solve. All right? So the next thing is to factor out the GCF from each group. So let's group the first two and the last two. When you're doing this, it's important to leave the middle operation outside of the parentheses. If your middle operation is negative, which it is, then you have to change the sign in the last group. Okay, since we're factoring out a negative, you have to change the sign. So that becomes a 6x minus 3. So now that we've done that, let's go ahead and find the GCF. So in our first group, the GCF is 2x. And when we factor out a 2x, you're left with 2x minus 1. For this one, what they have in common is they both have a 3 in common. You have a 6x minus a 3. So let's bring down the middle operation and bring out the GCF. So what's going to be left over is 2x minus 1. Because if you factor out a 3, then you're left with minus 1. And of course, bring down that minus 0. Sorry about that. Alright, so let's move on down to the next step. Simplify it. So we see in each term, in these two terms, they both have a 2x minus 1, which is what you wanted. So just pull that out. And then you write what's left over. This 2x and then minus 3. And of course, bring down your equals 0. So the last step, which is very easy, is to apply the zero product property. And since these two numbers are being multiplied times each other to equal 0, that either means that either this term is equal to 0 or this one is equal to 0. So we're going to do it for both. So 2x minus 1 is equal to 0. And then we're going to solve 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. So for this, we're just using algebra. So we add 1 to both sides, and that gives us 2x is equal to 1. And then we divide by 2 to cancel out that multiplication. So we get x is equal to 1/2. So that's our first solution. The second solution, I have to add 3 to both sides, which gives me 2x is equal to 3. And then I just divide both sides by 2. So when I do that, I get that x is equal to 3/2. So there you have it. My two solutions are 1/2 and 3/2. Thanks for watching.